I understand that I may not seem like the most easy to approach person in the world these days. In the past 5 years, I have transitioned from being a mild-mannered, easygoing, helpful member of a local community to being a reclusive individual who no longer gives a shit about cultural norms and is passionately pro-truth and is acutely averse to lies, both intentional and unconscious. And I understand that I've become quite intimidating because of this. There's a part of me that is even glad about this. Not because I really want people to be intimidated by me, just because I welcome any protection from the standard organizational lies pretty much all of us are operating under in this world, whether we are doing so intentionally or unwittingly. I'm not glad that I've become intimidating like this. It makes me feel dreadfully lonely. But so long as I have my work to get on with, so long as I have a roof over my head, etc., I'm able to cope with this. What is this work of mine that keeps me going amidst my heartbreak at the world as it currently is? I discovered just how badly human culture is broken. It's not that I didn't already perceive it as being broken and confused. I did well enough. And I tried to be at peace in myself amidst it all, as best I could, as perhaps most of us do. But I discovered just how broken our global culture is. I discovered the nature of its problem. And this happened for me unlooked for, seemed to come right out of the blue, because I unexpectedly solved reality. I wasn't meaning to. I wasn't trying to. It just happened. Some truths became apparent to me, and these just happened to be the simplest, most underlying truths about existence that there are. These simple truths that became apparent to me just happen to be the most foundational truths about reality that there are. They are the kind of truths that are so simple and self-evident that one wonders why one never realized them before. And once these truths became apparent to me, I became increasingly shocked at how they have not become apparent to anybody else throughout human history, or at least so it appears. And I became increasingly shocked at how very, very, very resistant the rest of the world is to hearing about them, to caring about them. In the face of the world and its culture they are so used to, so familiar with, so desperately trying to get along with. So when I make videos about the shocking, to me, errors in modern mathematics, when I point out that there is no such thing as less than nothing, and that quantities cannot be multiplied by themselves, and that our mathematician's definition of the word number is precisely backwards, nobody else seems to be shocked or care very much about it one way or the other. When I make videos explaining that there are 3 spatial dimensions for no other reason than that it is impossible for there not to be 3 spatial dimensions, and that they are entirely non-physical, the people who watch these videos do not seem to see why it should be so shocking to me that all the experts in the world say that space possesses physical properties and didn't used to be here. All of our experts in the world, mathematical experts, scientific experts, and also religious and spiritual experts, are devastatingly wrong in their assumptions, in what they present as their understandings, because they went ahead and became experts while nobody in the world had identified a coherent foundation yet for anything. This is what me and my work is all about, that I have found our foundation, the foundation of reality, which is the reality we all live in together. But I look up to tell people about it, let you all know I found it. And I find that everybody is off somewhere else because we gave up on finding our foundation, the very simplest and most underlying and always in effect truths of reality a long time ago, and are now entirely caught up in being the experts in whatever field of knowledge we feel we can pass ourselves off as being expert in. Because we feel this helps us get along in and with this world, this human culture of ours. I found our foundation, I call out, but there's nobody in sight, just a few tumbleweeds. And anybody who does hear me calling, they don't come over to me. At the most, they possibly call back from a distance, if I'm lucky. What? What are you saying? Oh, right, okay. That sounds interesting, I suppose. And then carry on with trying to get along with the world. I talk in my work about how there are truths that are not physical mechanisms, not physical objects or forces, not physical in any way, but breathtakingly true in all places, at all times, at all scales, in all directions. And that these non-physical truths are breathtakingly easy to understand, and that they are the truths that all of the complexity and mystery of our existence are emergent from, are caused by. There are truths that cannot not be true, and this is why we are here. And these truths have always been true and will forever remain true, because they are existentially incapable of ever not being true. and they are easy to understand. And still, nobody seems to understand why they should even be interested in understanding. I explain in my work about the nature of things that are eternal, because they are existentially incapable of ever not being true, of ever not being in effect. I explain in my work how it is truth, truths that cannot not be true, that are responsible for everything. Not God, and not some God particle of some description. But the experts on God are obviously not inclined to hear it. And the experts in subatomic particles are obviously not inclined to hear it. And anybody and everybody who is wrapped up in trying to get along with our culture, which is pretty much anybody and everybody, they are not inclined to hear it, because they are busy with trying to get along with this culture of errors and lies. And this makes me seem incomprehensible to them, because actively listening to me means giving up so much. And nobody wants to do that. Being faced with the actual truth of reality means being faced with the truths about ourselves. And who is it that wants to do that? We just want to get along with the world. We are tired and hurt children of existence. And we are tired of being tired and hurt children of existence. I'm here, and I have an answer to that, a solution to that. But everybody is just too tired and hurt and distracted and conditioned to want to deal with me. And the platforms I try to share my work on suppress my trying to share it. And the people who do show some passing interest in what I have to say, they do nothing to help. They do not share me with others. They do not promote me. They just show their passing and passive interest, and that's it. There are things that are controversial about me and the claims I make. Things that I'm not going to share here, but which I talk about openly in my work. Things that anybody and everybody caught up in trying to get along with our culture, which is pretty much anybody and everybody, are instinctively going to decide make me a crazy guy, a madman. Our worldwide culture is one enormous mixed bag of lie. Lies of all flavors, shapes and sizes. And this is why you both feel so desperate in your life here and why the things I say are more likely to make you back away than come closer. When we have never heard the truth, and then one day we do, the truth sounds fucking weird to us. It couldn't not do. I have the solution to our worldwide lie culture. Not surprisingly, this solution is the actual truth. And it feels like we have all just gone too far now to even want to consider turning around and coming back to the center and essentially starting over again from scratch. I have the solution for us all that we all long for. And you all just seem way too tired and hurt and feel way too small and vulnerable to be able to believe it could be possible. Anyway, I've come to that place I was inevitably going to come to sooner or later. I need some help. I can't continue on alone like this. For a little over a year now, I've been able to devote myself to my work without having to be employed. I reached the magical age of 55 just over a year ago and was able to cash in 6 years' worth of a pension I earned in a different life. And this enabled me to be in that comfortable position of being able to do whatever I wanted without having to spend the bulk of my time earning a living. I used to be self-employed and make my way by doing video work for people. But old clients are long gone now, and that little pot of pension money is gone too. I was actually surprised that my rent was covered yesterday because I'd forgotten I have a small overdraft facility. But I'm in the red now, and affording food isn't going to last much longer. I'm certainly not going to meet the next rent payment as things currently are. I need help. I need people who are actually willing to share my work with others. And I could really do with a benefactor or two. There's a donation button on the footer of my website. It's been there for quite a few years now. Nobody has ever clicked on it. If anybody here feels the impulse to help me out in that way, it would be more appreciated than I can express here. Even if you can't help keeping me from an eviction notice in this way, if you are familiar with my work and feel inspired enough by it, maybe you could point a few other people in my direction. If you're not familiar with my work, but are open to hopefully being inspired, I have a new front page on my website that makes it harder to navigate my site. This may sound like a strange thing for me to do, but I've basically turned my homepage into a treasure hunt of my work. All of my work is available on my site for free viewing and free download. And it's almost all released into the public domain. So if you do find that I may be somebody worth promoting in this world, you can take my material and do with it as you please. Use it as you please. Comment on it as you please. Cut and paste it as you please. To your own friends. To your own platforms. I need to be shared. And I sincerely believe that we need me to be shared. There's around 50 pieces of new material on the main page. I have been working hard. And there's a smattering of older work there too, alongside some of my creative output. Some novels, some poetry, some songs. Something for everyone, I hope. Please help me, somebody. I really need some help.